they'll still continue to go worship the old gods. So they're not, moving on. They're just being part of the deception. They're just continuing the lies knowingly, because they're now being told that the lies were ever present. Even though soon the GDL will go back to worshiping the alt-right. Soon, Patrick, it took Patrick Little hours to tell people that he was going, within of Patrick Little saying the alt-right's a scam, he was hanging out with the alt-right within like hours, and that's all he's ever hung out with. So, no one else would hang out with them. There's no one else. Those are pretty good examples, but no one's going to come up with that. He's simply not going to discuss that, because he's just going to keep hanging out with them, just like the GDL has moved to hang out with them. So, Morpheus, he's harder to read than the others, but he's tying himself in now with the GDL, so that's easy enough to read. We've already discussed that. You can discuss that a million times. Anyone who tries to tell you they're giving you good information, Redice is giving you good information, Andrew Anglin's giving you good information, Alex Jones is giving you good information. All these people are just like giving you bad information. They're lying to you. There might be something you want to believe in something they say, but it doesn't matter. You are like their tool when you tell people to go hang out with them. You are their soldier. You are the bloodline in the way protecting them from the truth. You can't go, Nazis can't go scapegoating other people when the Nazis are the problem. When the Nazis are the blood and soil that protects the war machine. It's the same thing, same people, right? And anyways, this guy basically talks about Zionism in Israel. I don't really want to get to him, because he's just like a non-issue here compared to the people he's hanging out with. But he is definitely designed to trap the Christians even further. It really seems that way. And especially if he's hanging out with the alt-right, he's designed or not, he's definitely trapping them. So, nowhere in Christianity does it mention alt-right, except for the fact that the Bible's like complete doublespeak, and you can pull any phrase you want from out of it and apply it. It's a situation. So you have a situation you want to feel a certain way about, you can look up a Bible quote to make you feel good about how you feel about that situation. And to be honest, I don't see a lot of Bible stuff on here, but he always gave me, I forget why, and this is a person I couldn't stay around too long, because it was just like blah blah blah. See, oh yeah, how Israel infiltrated the Trump campaign. See, he goes from like supporting Trump to telling you that they infiltrated to opposing Trump, like skipping over the facts that they didn't infiltrate, they always were, which is like that allows for Trump to be a scapegoat, which protects him. Low IQ idiots would continue to protect Trump if this were the case. If Trump blackmailed, he was taking advantage of. Trump's a really good guy. He's just a banker who robbed the banks in the tax system for your benefit. Any good person does that. But so you don't need to worry about that. But he was just blackmailed. Besides that, he was only hosting the pedophiles at his place because they blackmailed him, dude. Of course, he's blackmailed. He's not one of them. You can't think for yourself. See, the odd thing is, it's like, man, it's like some of this shit that already exists is like real time, because like I'll question motherfuckers, and then you like look up pictures of them, and their pictures will like show you the answer to your question, you know, like how they would respond if you ask that question. And like some of them, people will look scared, or they'll look ratty and suspicious, or they'll look kind of, rarely they look dumb and confused. Like Mueller looks dumb and confused. He really does. Like no one else. I mean, he doesn't look dumb and confused. He just looks confused and wondrous, actually. Dumb and confused is more like Bush Jr. and Lindsey Graham. Although Lindsey Graham's, his look is evil terrorist deception. And then even as I'm saying that, I looked at another picture, and it looks like it's a person pondering what I'm saying. Weird how this shit happens. People do respond to me. Like, I've had people respond to me like, wow. Like, they don't know I'm talking. They don't know I'm doing anything. They shouldn't, but they do know. And then they come out and they say it. I've had people call me and be like, you were like, oh yeah, we're talking now because you got rejected. You just got rejected. And it's like, wait a minute, how do you know I was rejected if you're 1,000 miles away from me? That was like one of the first times I realized that this shit was happening, because it's like, whoa, hold on. Like, technically I wasn't rejected, because that motherfucker came back to me, and they might not like me now, but I'm sure they fucking didn't feel like there was a waste of time. And in their own words, they didn't reject me, but it felt that way, which is even more weird, that they felt that I felt rejected. They knew how I felt, but I don't know, they didn't seem to fully understand the circumstances of how I just played it wrong, so it went differently. People want you to play the game with them. They don't want you to know that you've already won the game and decide not to participate and just jump straight to go and collect $200. They fucking hate that shit, generally. Yeah, so it was called rejected in that case, but it wasn't really rejection, but that person so far away knew that shit happened. Again, I'm talking about the person who is a Fed agent, and if they were communicating with the other person to know I was rejecting that night, they would make the other person suspect too, wouldn't it? Only in the mind of a thinking individual could that be possible, right? In the mind of a mentally disabled person, then that's not possible. That if someone knows what you've done with something else, with someone or something else, if someone knows anything about you that you just did 1,000 miles away without you telling them, then someone told them, right? Like, in your guys' logic, that's the only possible way. Without any sort of spiritual or camera surveillance, it would have to happen that way, right? That person would have to tell you. And yeah, so you assume the other person is in on it too, especially when that other person comes back and acts weirdish at best. And or no, the other person eventually comes back, and that person contacts you out of nowhere. The other person contacts you while you're with the other person out of nowhere, and you basically started seeing that other person out of nowhere again into your life, and you weren't ever talking to that person or ever going to really, but for some reason you decided to again, and then magically that person can like call, you know, almost while that person's there, pretty much in the few minutes that person isn't around you, they call to discuss shit with you. And really fuck shit up too, not just discuss shit, but like knowing that you don't talk to that person and they call. Like, again, it's not just a person who you don't talk to anymore, it's a person you've let know never to fucking talk to you again. And that's why they don't talk to you anymore. But they know to call and fuck shit up right then. That's not a stalker. That's something else going on when there's connected shit like that. And it's weird how some of the media shit can like respond the way it does. And it's very weird. It's like shit's created almost instantly sometimes. But then you review it closer and it's like shit's created in the past based upon your current decisions to suit your need. Like I've asked for stuff, but then I realized that was like I didn't need to ask for that. I had that 10 years ago. I just didn't know what to do with it at that point, so I fucked it up, or destroyed it, or what I did, or didn't care for it at that point in time. A little off topic. So I just got into looking at how when you start asking questions, you aren't like specifically looking for these people to look a certain way either. A lot of times you'll put in someone's words, you put in someone's name, and it'll pull up a whole array of pictures where the person is always looking like a snake, or the person is always looking clueless, something like that, But Jake Morfinos, he went to fall for the Trump's good. Oh no, I found out about Trump. He is not on my side. And then the Trump's bad. And then they'll just go back to like, well, Trump's better than anyone. He's the best we got. Because they always do that. They always go back to that lie. It's the best we've got. It's all they allow us to vote for, so we should vote for it. The best they allow us to vote for. The best in my mind. It doesn't matter what's the best anywhere. What's the best for white supremacy? That's the GDL and the all-right bottoms line. What's their narrative is going to be, what's the best for white supremacy global domination? And, well, Trump's obviously the best for that because Clinton had an aneurysm and suffered brain damage. So, or a stroke or whatever it was. She was wearing stroke glasses, something, and suffered severe brain damage. So you can't put her in there. That would be weird. That would be like Reagan again. People might start questioning that. People behind Reagan didn't question anything, but maybe people behind Trump would question, why do we put a mentally handicapped person? I mean, people behind Clinton might question, why do we put a mentally handicapped person in the presidency? Who cares? No, I'm not so. I mean, that's literally what Clinton did, dude. Like, she had brain problems. He's like, I mean, and everyone talked about that, but they all refused to tell the truth that she was wearing fucking seizure stroke glasses. And it's pretty obvious there that something was up, that she suffered severe damage, no longer capable. But then again, neither was Reagan when he got shot in his head. Neither was George Bush Jr. ever. So, while on Black Zone Intelligence Network, I seen a guy you guys might know called Matthew North. I shouldn't say a guy, it's a channel. And he along with a guy named Johnny Gatt, they both were on the GDL, the new deceptive GDL side. They don't know, they wouldn't ever talk about the old one, of course. But the new one, they're all up on the GDL2's nuts, the white supremacist nuts. So, there's actually someone there who commented below Matthew North, who said this is just the same stuff already being said, and it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. was hoping for new content here. Oh well, so many videos already made on this. And that's what it is. It's just a trap. They're going to put you in a circle and say the same thing over and over. But then tomorrow they'll say the exact opposite. And these so-called people who follow these channels will go with that lie to promote their terrorism, enslavement, genocide, whatever their daily duties are. All of the above and more. They'll just switch instantly. It doesn't matter what they're saying right now. You can see already the GDL has switched several times because it's basically Patrick Little is like the original face of it, and then Adam Green claimed he invented it. And this is GDL2, and they claim they are against alt-righters, but all they do is hang out with alt-righters, and then now they are basically openly hanging out with alt-right leaders. Like, you can't get around those people, dude. Tranny Lana Lockteff would not let you on her show if you were going to be honest about them. They banned me. That tranny banned me, dude. I'm sorry, I don't mean it. I'm using the words that the other people use. I don't mean to insult transsexuals like Lanny Lockteff. Now, hey, that's your right. If you're 18 or older, you can do what you want. And if you're under 18, your parents can be deported to Gitmo re-education facility. It's like Harvard University, but for parents. So, I'm sorry, yeah, I was using the word improperly. Transsexual Lanny Lockteff. She hasn't gotten her chest implants yet, but all the boys still come to her yard. That is actually where the red eye. That's how red eyes got so big. It's like you go there and boys are staring at this blonde and they're not thinking of anything else. They're like, oh my God, I want to have babies with you. And they're sitting there telling you too, these are grown adults telling these children on these accounts to have babies. They're extreme pedophiles. She's not just a transsexual, she's a pedophile. They're promoting these children to have these babies. And let's get real. We all know who they want the children to have babies with, who they want to have sex with. They want to have the babies with the children because clearly you don't sit around and talk about such stuff to children. But it's a huge thing. It's 30% of their conversation is directed towards having more white babies. And you got to breed more, quit school, go breed. Hey, you're almost 16, you better start breeding before it's too late. It's quite the child predatory environment. You don't talk to children about shit like that normally. You definitely don't encourage them to do that. You encourage the opposite. You encourage them to shut the fuck up, read a book, and stop being a degenerate. But no, and that's what these people, even if you don't believe you should be educated and you should shut the fuck up if you don't know what you're talking about, and even if you don't believe that children having sex is degenerate, or these adults telling children to have sex is degenerate, even if you don't believe it, that's their morals, their values. That's like the other half. That's 30% of the other propaganda is them claiming that they're on a moral high ground like this. Don't watch porn, have sex with each other instead. Have babies. Because having a baby's not going to ruin your life and make you not be able to do not be able to learn anything, not be able to do anything, not be able to be intelligent, not be able to have any skills, any values, any hobbies. Of course not. Yeah, a baby takes care of itself. You just poop the baby out your vagina and the baby takes off running. You don't even know what happened to it anymore, right? That's how it works. And literally, that's not even part of their propaganda to say raise the children. They just pop the baby out. you're 16, it's time to pop babies out. They're just leaving out the part where those 30, 40-year-olds are the ones who want to be popping the penis in you to get the baby to pop out. Or, I shouldn't say it like that, because in my experience as a male, all the pedophiles I've known, it being a straight male, maybe gay males have a different experience, but all the pedophiles I've known have been women. So all the pedophiles who have been with me have been women, because you're not going to be a gay dude fucking being a pedophile with me. Like, that wouldn't work too well. And just had someone the first time when I was like 6. I would have loved to see what happened if that shit went down. Probably wouldn't have been too smooth for the other person. But hell, what am I supposed to do when I'm 14 and grown women are trying to talk to me when the 14-year-old girls are busy, trying to rape 24-year-old guys or 30, 40-year-old guys? There really isn't much of a choice. I mean, not that I can have much of a choice when I'm 14 and I'm just like beginning to fucking think anything. I'm definitely not thinking, hey, this is what they call pedophilia. I shouldn't do this. I should be wary of people doing this. Although it kind of was weird at the same time, right? The first time it happened, but I guess you get used to it after a while. You get used to pedophiles after a while. And it becomes kind of natural. I'm even talking to like an older person right now. It's weird. See, it becomes completely fucking natural once they put you in the water and turn the heat up. I can see why Milo is the way he is today, because they put him in the boiling water and just turn the heat up, put him in the cold water and turn it to boil. So we're back on track. So I'm seeing Matthew North on here, and that also brings in the Johnny Gap, because they were kind of like two pieces in a pod at the time frame they stepped in together. Same time frame they stepped in, and then kind of like their propaganda value was equally, like it was up there, and their production value seemingly was as well, although Ged's production value was probably much more. But par for par, it wasn't just like an idiot reading something. So they've been backing the GDL, and that's extremely suspicious, because they of all people, just like the alt-right, just like the alt-right, just like the truthers, just like the conspirators, just like the libertarians, they would know that there's people out there in the media deceiving them and leading them on, and in that specific realm especially. So they know better than to just trust these deceptors, but they're doing it. They're just promoting them straight out. And there are a few people here and there who question, like, why are you here? What's going on? And it's important you do that, because that's the only way you're going to find out anything. And you'll find out how they respond to you, which they've changed their response slightly. The GDLs try to be less aggressive, but they're completely banning you. I mean, I'm banned from Redice. Like I said, the transsexuals there at Redice, and you can tell, she used to be a man, because she doesn't have a woman's body. She hasn't taken enough estrogen yet to become a man. But that's all it takes at Redice, is you get a man in a wig, and boy, them white supremacists love that shit. He's like, hoo boy, I love men in wigs. Makes me want to cut my hair off. Fucking when you realize what a lot of these white males are really after, what they want. I was in a dancing video, and people were like, that's transsexual in the video, and I was like, no, back then I think they really hired women, just that's what they look like, fucking. So yeah, that's what they're after. And Lanny Lucktuff is a good example. Brandy, probably her post-op name, right? Although I don't even think she's had her operation yet. She hasn't had any tits sewn on. She just, you know, she's, I don't think she's wearing a wig either. I think that's her real hair, because you can tell it's like the dyed depth is being changed. You know, when she lets it grow out a little while without dyeing it, you can tell. So, that's why people go there. It's simply because of that. They don't need to do anything except for put a man in a wig who looks like a blonde woman on TV, and little dick males will be like right in line, like, oh my god, it's a female. It's a female. I can't believe it looks like a female. I like people who look like females. And that's the only reason they're even big, because their bullshit is like irrelevant, and they quickly led people astray from what they claimed, from what the people on the page claim it was. So they knew. They just wanted to go there to look at the man in the wig and whack off to it. That's really what I think Redice is to most people. It's just a place where men, some of you ladies might have noticed that your men have an obsession with watching women's sports nowadays, even though women can't play sports, and it's definitely nowhere near what happens in the men's sports, and it's stupid shit they're not interested in, like volleyball or tennis. I mean, I like tennis, but most of you know, if your man really care about tennis, he'll talk about, like, one time I played tennis. Like, most men haven't played volleyball. Most men haven't played tennis. As men get older, they become bitches. Like, even bigger bitches than they were before. I've known guys who I thought were, like, pretty hardcore, like, manly men. They start doing some bitch shit when they get older. Like, bowing down to women. And one way they do this is their woman will, like, beat the fuck out of them if they look at a porn or something like that. So they start watching news anchors on TV and whacking off to that, or they're watching women's volleyball and whack off to that. And that's exactly why women's sports have gotten so big. It's not because women watch sports. Some women are idiots who will act like they do whatever a man does, and to attempt to snag a man. And I couldn't even say they're idiots, because women are pretty intelligent in their predatory tactics and manipulation. And most of the time I find that they can't live up to their initial display. It's just there to trap your mind into wandering too close to the spider's web, and they get caught. But generally women don't watch those sports, and that's men. So the rise in that, the rise in all that women on TV is that. You can see Megyn Kelly Fox, like, literally you go to these Fox News, like 1 in 5 comments is a man commenting on Megyn Kelly. Almost 1 in 12 comments on the internet about politics is a man commenting on Megyn Kelly. Now, it doesn't have to be that they're saying, oh my god, I want to suck those titties. They don't have to say that. They're simply thinking of the woman all the fucking time. They can't get their little dicks to fucking focus on anything else. So that's why they mention her. She's of no importance. She's one of the dumbest people on TV. But just like info bimbos on InfoWars, she's placed on TV as an info bimbo because you immediately gain viewers by showing tits on your TV. You immediately can subvert like 50% of the population or more. I mean, I'm not saying I'm immune to this stuff. But knowing what's going on helps y'all deal with it. And ladies, if your men can't deal with it on their own, fucking smack the shit out of it. Fucking, not that I'm against them watching porn or anything. It's just, if they're a bitch about it, you know how to treat a bitch, ladies. Fucking, a bitch wants to be treated like a bitch. You know that. And you know if your man's a bitch, because you probably got with him because you wanted a bitch you can control. And I'm telling you, he wants nothing more. He doesn't even want you to give him a blowjob. He wants you to smack him in the fucking mouth. He loves that. He'll have orgasm from that. They're watching Lana Lockdown, Megan Kelly, any of this other bullshit, because they're scared to watch porn, and they're using this as an excuse. That's just like an extreme bitch move. And from the bottom of your heart, he wants to feel the love. Extend from your heart out through your arm to his lips, the gentle kiss of love, the kiss of love, right up there. That's why they call it right in the kisser. You go, right in the kisser. Yeah, the kiss of love. So that's what redice is about. Never trust that shit. Never trust an info pinball. I mean, but damn it, we've been over redice forever. So now we're back on Matthew North, Johnny Gat. Again, these are people who all their commenters are hanging out with redice. All their commenters are, I'm sure, hanging out with GDL, although Gat's not around right now. That's a good way to erase old stuff, and it's a good way to make you seem relevant. But at the same time, we've seen that those people, when they rise up, they said so much shit that you couldn't say. Like, no one else could say that shit at that time. And that's why it didn't exist, because people had already said that shit to Tuanic Chick, Scott Roberts. I mean, I even seen Scott Roberts liking some GDL shit, so I hate to put his name out there, but I'm just saying, 10 years ago, Tuanic Chick is not around anymore, right? So you couldn't say any of that. You couldn't go near that, but they magically were allowed to, but now they're hanging out with the GDL, and it like makes sense because they're supporting these people rather than the obvious that you should, if you're aware, you can look at them and you know right away that you're being lied to, and then you can listen to them and know that they're taking you 10 years back, and that's like part of the deception. They want to take you back on the time frame because we pushed the time frame so it could get further faster than they wanted, so they caused all this infighting, and instead now they're just pushing people back. And supposedly all these people are like white, supreme white people who know everything, but they know nothing. And like everything about all these movements stinks, like so bad. Like, how are you supreme if you can't do anything, right? Here we have Handsome Truth praising Johnny Gat, which, I mean, yeah, you ain't got much against Johnny Gat except for he's praising the GDL. But at the same time, he magically got taken away at the same time the GDL did. So at the same time, GDL rise up. So who's to say he's not one of them, right? And he's not working for him. Just like Andrew Anglin, his whole team, he had a team of people, right? So it's not just him, and it wasn't him at all. Really, it was other stuff going on. So they all tie into the same people. And they all keep doing that. That's how it all works. Alex Jones dies into Corsi, and I mean, everyone. That was so long ago. If you're even still discussing Alex Jones like it's relevant, you're a dinosaur. you're holding everyone else back. You can go do your Alex Jones research. Yeah, go like get a computer that's offline and open up like 4 word pads and talk to yourself. Be like, I love Alex Jones here, and over here I do whatever you want to do. You can like be your own controlled opposition until you figure it out, right? You can do it. Just disconnect from the internet and talk in the word pad, but you can't do that if like you've been programmed, if you're like a bot or an Android programmed to do something else. You simply can't do that. All these people were already exposed, and they just recycle them, because it's like the same. It's like a TV show on repeat. It doesn't fucking change. And does the audience change? Well, it's looking like no, the audience actually doesn't change, especially online, because the audience is these people themselves, the liars, the scam artists, the scumbags, hanging out with the other deceptors, lying about everything, terrorists. And at the end of the day, it's all terrorism. It's highly fucking linked charges, highly fucking dangerous things they're partaking in with, how they lie to promote wars. Like, they'll claim they're against war, but they're promoting the agenda that actually pushes the war through, or distracts you while they push covert wars through, stuff like that, while they enslave people. Like, truthers, alt-right, libertarians, GDL, alt-right, they're like, they want to hang all fucking people who use opiates, like, aka, like, they pretty much want to call old people down at the fucking pain management center. That's like all old people. There's like mostly people with walkers and shit. Rich Piana was probably on some opiates because he's a super bodybuilder. All the leading bodybuilders have talked about being on opiates. So that's who's actually down at your pain clinic. That's who's actually being enslaved. The alt-right, GDL, alt-right, libertarians, truthers, conspirators, they're all enslaving these people and forcing them to go to these government rehab places to get natural plant medications that would otherwise exist. With God's creation, he's designed this stuff to be there, but these people are anti-human. The alt-right, GDL, alt-right, truthers, conspirators, libertarians, they're anti-human for the most part. So anything that's natural, they tend to want to try to stifle, and then they'll make the argument, oh look, we're doing something with marijuana. It's like, no, you're not. Like, you're pushing the system on people, and you've really not changed nothing. You've just made up some bullshit saying you have. I deal with this all the time. I call these people and try to talk to them. They definitely don't want to call you back and discuss it, if no matter how proper you are. Like, I mean, look at me right now, dude. I could go in and discuss anything with any of these people, right? Fucking, and like, I look like $1,000,000. Like, these people don't look anything like me. Those people look at me some days and like they think I'm a fucking star. You can tell the way they act. I fucking look that way. I've always, I've been a model, fucking. So there's a little bit of a reason why I dress like those people in Hollywood, because I was told to. But no, I like dressing proper, like, and especially these days with the people who aren't rebels dressing like rebels. It's like, well, that's just trendy to dress like a slob and like an outcast. It's like, you're not even an outcast, you're just fucking trendy. You're doing it because you got covered in tattoos because it's what Kim Kardashian's clone does. Like, it's not actually what Kim Kardashian does, but the other people, whoever, I don't even know who you people worship, fucking 2 Cents and 666 or whatever these fucking names are, like that's like, those are people who are not fucking like rebels. And so the idea that dressing a certain way is rebellious, it might exist, but the shit changes. Like, as people want to be cool who aren't, they'll change over. And so then they stop wearing suits because they're told, like, you're a rebel if you stop wearing a suit. And it's like, so these days dressing up is like rebellious, so I'm cool with that. It's just like, man, like, these people won't talk to me about shit unless I trick them and trap them. Even then, it's pretty hard. And a lot of them stay safely hidden. Like, I was going to get near Trump, but magically he wasn't at the RNC, nowhere to be seen. Maybe he was there, you're not allowed to see him. You're not allowed to place your filthy peasant eyes upon the Lord Emperor Trump. You filthy peasant. What the hell were you thinking? You long-haired, degenerate, Jesus-looking, satanic hippie. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't believe you thought you was going to get to look at Donald Trump. Can't believe you thought you was going to meet him on the campaign trail. No. That doesn't happen. It didn't happen. At least for me, right? I'm sure it happened for everybody else, right? Except for anyone at the RNC and anyone at the DNC, because no one at either of those places, except for a few suits and possible military, claimed they had seen him. No one else did. So, all these people working together, they've got different deceptions, but it's all basically the same deception. And if you think any of them are just confused, well, maybe you need to look in the mirror before you start slandering other people as confused, because they don't seem very confused to me, and they seem highly networked, and they are very repetitive too. Like, there's a difference. See, a confused person isn't repetitive. A confused person would be like, oh my God, what's going on? I gotta figure out what's going on. Deceptive person can be repetitive, but a confused person is likely not to be repetitive. So you gotta look out for that. I mean, there's just so many ways you gotta look out for these people. And it's right here, before I close this, it's, who does it link to me when I'm at the redice? Well, I got a few special, bodybuilding linking plus things, but it's linking me back to someone I haven't watched, and I've definitely tried not to watch for 12 years or something. Changed channel. One of the anti-Obama nuts, and one of the truthers. He was like, not a TV truther. He was an alternative truther. He wasn't the TV superstar Alex Jones was, but he was kind of like the second in charge ish. And it's the same thing over and over. They create these networks of people who are deceptive. At the end of the day, they all work together. I should just click on that while I'm closing this out and see what people have said recently. So that was 2009, so I guess I was wrong on 12 years. It's only been 10. America needs to wake up. Look at the UK. It's a great thing we have a real American president that fights for the USA first. See what I'm saying? It's all the same shit. designed to trap your fucking mind. And see, this change of channel dude, like, he posed as like some sort of biker hippie. So he's the last person who you would think was supporting white supremacists behind Trump. And anyone with half a brain, doesn't matter how many times white supremacists who want to protect their stolen lands and their stolen fucking valuables and their stolen riches and their bad fucking murderous attitudes. It doesn't matter how many times they tell you he's not a white supremacist. He's not white, and he's not a white supremacist, but they are. They are. And you can easily see that through all their comments and their rhetoric and deceptions. And Amarin will tell you we're not white supremacists, and it's like, you are. You're just fucking, you're using word games to dog whistle white supremacists. But the alt-right and conservatives don't dog whistle. Only Amarin dog whistles. Only Trump dog whistles. Online, especially behind all these fake accounts, they feel free to be honest. And they are honest. Now, the GDL lies, and, you know, we're not white supremacists. Well, of course you're not. You're not white, but you're definitely, you're hanging out with the white supremacists. You're talking to them. They're great in your eyes. They're your leaders. They're your gods. They're your best friends. They're the only people who would talk to you, to be honest, because people who aren't white supremacists aren't talking yet. And yeah, you don't have to be white to be a white supremacist. Everyone wants to be a white supremacist because white supremacists are busy telling people they're going to kill everyone who's not a white supremacist. So even if you don't like him, it's in your best interest to be like, yeah, I like you guys. Don't kill me. Thanks. Hey, yeah, thanks. Don't genocide me like you're doing the Palestinians, you know. Look at this. Change the channel. Thank God America's been liberated from far left, like everything evil in the world. At this point, it just left them a kind of maniacal crowd that liberals are made up of, and they'll be gone soon to long live Trump to bring our prosperity and the conqueror of the radical left-wing Marxism. That comes from fuck Obama, fuck Clinton. Dude, this is crazy shit. See, I mean, look, this is totally tied into what I'm talking about because it's the same shit over and over. It's the conspiratards, truthers, the libertarians, alt-right, alt-light, GDL. Alex Jones has been the star of everyone and been a center of peace. They couldn't shut the fuck up about him. And they just want to keep reverting. Like they always expose him and then they go back to worship him. They're like, the alt-right's like, Alex Jones is one of them. I can't believe it. Look, we got all this proof. And they show you all the proof and you're like, yeah, hey, that's proof. I already knew that. But I already knew that was proof, and I already knew that he was a controlled opposition. Thanks, good, you're on our side. And then like a year later, Trump and Alex Jones are really good. They're really good people. I love them. And then you're like, yeah, I love them. Because you just repeat what the media, what the TV says. What the internet TV says. What the radio says. What the storybook says. What the comic book says. What the Broadway play says, what the teachers at school says, what the doctors at the hospital says. It doesn't matter who's fucking saying it. You're fucking just repeating it. Here's Change the Channel. 9 years in, and I see some of the same people that have been here the entire time. And returning faces with different names, even spitting in your eye. It's okay to state the obvious. Media lies, that's a fact. Government lies, that's a fact. What day was it we woke up and things changed? We're still asleep. Oh, wow, look, Change the Channel is actually fucking bashing Trump. It's my bad. But everyone on his channel is a Trump tard. And what's on your channel is a product of what your channel comes out. So there's probably some sort of deception in here. I'm not going to fucking pay attention to this guy's channel ever again because he's still lying. He's still keeping the lies of the truther movement locked down. And he was always I don't want to say that word used to scapegoat Israelis, but he was always a protector of them. And he has done nothing but lie about that. So, but it doesn't matter. Somewhere along the line, the people in his movement, that he's going to act like it's his. Adam Green's never stolen a movement that wasn't his and claimed it's about him. Change the channels literally. This is reposting Alex Jones videos, and he's claiming that what Alex Jones is saying isn't right, but all of Alex Jones' followers are here saying the opposite, that Trump's their hero and all that. Blah, 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 blah. So, and I'm not even saying he's anti-Trump, but it's a channel. It's same people, same narrative. And they put the fringe people there, like the GDL2, scrape up loose ends, people who might think that Alex Jones' prison planet is heading towards some sort of white supremacy type bullshit. And so they put a hippie out there to make you think that it's not one of them. That's like a total trick they pull. They're like, oh, look, it's a hippie. It's not a white supremacist. You can vote for him. I'd be surprised if that wasn't like one of their next presidential moves, to put like another Trump into office, would be to put out like a John Lennon type character. Even listen to some really shitty fucking hippie music, just to really seal the deal. Man. But, so, I mean, that's it. I could sit here and go by and link how they're all out more and more and more. Like this Corbett report. Meet the Clintons. Why is he still talking about the Clintons? What's so relevant about the Clintons? The only thing is because they want you to talk about stupid shit. And you don't have to debunk Corbett report. You just have to look at Corbett, and you either know or you don't know nothing. And with Change Channel, it's harder because when you use the beard and stuff, you cover your face up, and he's using glasses to cover his face up. He's totally covering his face up, and he's posing as something else, but he's backing Jonestein all the way. Except for, it looks like he might be like fucking, he might be against Trump, but that was always kind of Change the Channel's thing, to be slightly against some of what Alex Jones said. They all kind of do that, but the thing is they want you to, he's hosting this shit that was still like it's pretty much deception. You should throw out anything Alex Jones says, because when you promote Alex Jones, Redice, GDL, you are promoting people to go there, and then they will be indoctrinated. You aren't, even if you give a warning like, hey, don't pay attention to this. They don't pay attention to certain parts of this. Like, people have no idea what they're in for. I can't even listen to this shit. No, I'm not supposed to believe any of it. And I'm like, dude, it's really good. It's really informative. It made a lot of sense. But that's exactly how it's designed. It's designed to trap you like that, to override your in-depth critical thinking with a baseline emotional response to this shit. I hate talking about all this shit. I quit doing it until the GDL2 came out, because let's face it, I've been a member of the I was like following the original GDL years ago. And so were several at one of my accounts. So they invented the shit. So I just came back to kind of tell people watch out for these snakes, because that's not true. Adam Green didn't invent the GDL2. He invented the GDL2. He didn't invent the GDL1, he invented the GDL2. But he doesn't want you to know that there's a difference. He doesn't want you to think there's a difference, and he wants his group to take over that group. I'm not saying they weren't always the same people and just hiding. But they're definitely more aware than were at the GDL1, but now they're like less aware, because you have the GDL2 invading and promoting their bullshit, and you know, by the end of next year the GDL1 will be like non-existent. It'll be like, I mean, they're all kowtowing to the GDL2. They're not just being invaded, like, and that makes it look even more suspicious as to who could have been behind that. But possibly Adam Green being there from the start and stuff like that. But man, anyways, there's no point in explaining too much of this stuff over and over and over and over and over and over. Maybe you don't get it the first time after a few years of thinking of it. You're never going to get it. That's where the truthers and the libertarians are. They're stuck. They're mentally stuck. Their brains are frozen. It's like someone put a bullet to their head, except for it only hit the area of the brain that controls stuff other than basic motor functions, you know, so they can still like move and talk and stand and sit, but they can't do anything else anymore. It'd be weird if propaganda could actually do such a tool, do such a thing to people, to a free thinking being, but I don't think that's what it is. It's like they're not being free thinking, they're being like terrorists, or they're being unable to think. So there's, you know, the two options once you're so far into it. Once you see something, a being, a bot, an account, so far into it, it's either it's decided to be a terrorist and go with the terrorist narrative so it can feel good about itself, or it's incapable, and it's a waste of time to teach the incapable, and it's really a waste of time to talk to the terrorist as well. But putting terrorists on notice is always good, because you're like preparing, you know, you're giving them the chance to change and to revert, which, you know, the government ones are never going to really. So you're just putting them on notice, like, hey, we know you were notified that you're acting as a terrorist, so you can't plead that in court anymore, because you've already been notified you're a terrorist and you're acting as a terrorist, and you continue to do that because you want it to be a terrorist. So that's really where the want or the care to make a video like this comes from. So you put terrorists on notice, then you get them. I mean, how many people out there have already been creating watch lists of most of these people? I'm sure there's several at least. It's not too hard. You see a lot of the same names over and over on these pages, these same account names. And I've seen many of them just keep going along with it. They don't care about the truth. They don't care what they're doing. They just want to benefit from it somehow. And that's them. It doesn't matter whether they dislike the terrorists they work for. It doesn't matter whether they dislike the ideas of the terrorist actions that they follow through with. Just the only thing that matters is that they were put on notice that and given a chance, and that evidence could be brought before a court, that they knew what they were doing and they were told, and because their escape is going to be, we didn't know that all of the stupid white supremacists we follow were deceptive pieces of shit lying to us, even though we agreed that this one or that one was a lying piece of shit a year before, terrorists, but now we worship them because it benefits us. We didn't know any of that. We didn't know that Alex Jones was a bad guy, and then Alex Jones was a good guy, and then Alex Jones was a bad guy, and then Alex Jones was a good guy. I just kept saying it. I didn't know that. That doesn't, I didn't know that the baby was there. I just stuck my penis in that space, and I was like, Jesus, who put a baby there? It gets to, that's really what it comes down to. So you've been fucking trapped. I'm gonna say it like I said on GDL. A lot of this shit's just to trap people. I mean, if you're a rat, you need trapping. And if you're not a rat, you don't get trapped. You get caught, let loose. You let yourself loose. You can chew your tail out of the trap. You might get let out on your own. You might get a friend to help you out. But, hell, I'm pretty sure most of what I've been doing the last few years is just like setting up bait to see where people are going. Not even just people, but the energies of the world, like I